good morning. It's your boy JunSix. And I wanted to just talk about something live that's on my heart, because, if you don't know, lately I've been shooting these video blogs. By the way, if you don't know where they are, just go to youtube.com and search Junie Baby Music, JUNNYBABYMUSIC. youtube.com/Junie Baby Music. That's my channel. And that's where you can get those vlogs. So I started a vlog series, and rather than shooting a vlog series for this one, I figured I'd just go ahead and just tell y'all what's on my mind, and maybe I'll shoot a vlog on this later. So my question to you, this actually comes from a place where not to pick on my son's on point, love him to death, but you know how kids are when it comes to when you tell them to go clean their room, right? And so I want to just draw a parallel by that. My question to you is, do you clean up your life the same way you clean up, the same way a child cleans up his room, or some grown-ups for that matter? Do you clean up your life the same way a child goes to clean up his room? And what I mean by that is, when a child goes to clean up his room, and I've been there too, so let me paint a picture for you. A messy room looks like this, right? Bed's not made. You got like 3 or 4 sheets. Bed's not made. Sheets are all over the place. Sheets may be on the floor. You got you have a bunch of papers all over the floor. You got toys all over the floor. You got messed up papers on a shelf. You got, everything is, not where it needs to be. You got, clothes that are in the closet, but they're not hung up. And you got all these different things that are just all over the place. If somebody has a marker set, there's markers in different places, and everything is just completely out of whack, right? And so, I mean, shoot, if you have a teenager, you probably got like, soda cans and stuff like that. And I mean, so picture that messy room, right? And you tell your child, go clean up your room. Well, there's a couple different ways that a person may go about cleaning up their room, and the main thing is, there's a couple reasons why the room is not going to be cleaned up the way it has to be. And one of the main reasons is because they just want to get it over with. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I want to hurry up and clean my room so I can go play, or I don't have to worry about it. So you go about it really fast, right? So what happens? Best case scenario is, if you want them to make up their bed, they're just going to fold the sheets over onto their bed, push them over onto the bed, so they're on the bed, and it's covering up the bed, but it's not necessarily organized. It's just on the bed, and that's a made-up bed, right? The papers on the floor. You pick up the papers, you kind of just grab them all, you stack them. Best case scenario, you might stack them, or they'll just put it on a shelf. There, it's out the way, clean. Get everything off the floor. Okay, pick up the toys, throw them in your toy box. Boom. Or maybe they'll just end up going on a shelf. Then you got what? Different types of markers and stuff like that. You'll just pick them up, throw them in the box with all the rest of the markers, not in the box, right? And so this is how the room ends up being cleaned up. Child comes back downstairs. You say, did you clean your room? And they go, yes, Daddy, I cleaned my room. Did they really clean their room? Well, to their standards, in terms of trying to get it out the way and get it taken care of, yes, it's clean. It's neater. But is it clean? And so my question to you is, do you approach the cleaning of your life? Do you clean up your life the same way that child cleaned up their room? And you could take this in different ways, but what I want to point out is, how do we deal with things that are in our lives that need to be cleaned up? Like, for instance, when you see a stack of papers on the ground, do you pick them up and do you actually sort through them? Do you actually fold your clothes, hang up your clothes, put them away? Do you do a deep clean? Do you look at your carpet at some point, clean up your carpet, get the dust off the table? Because in our lives, we are in a hurry to just fix it, to just clean it up, right? And what happens is, whenever you just move things out of the way, right? We move things out of the way. Consider our minds as a cluttered room, a messy room. And what we do are our hearts. Consider our hearts as a messy room. And then what we want to do is, we just want to get it cleared out of the way. So what do you do with those things that are in your mind, those things that are in your heart, those things that are cluttering you up and messing you up? You just push it out of the way. And when we have problems and we push them out of the way, we don't go through them individually. We don't look at the papers to see what we need and what we don't need, right? Because that's what you do when you clean up, right? You know, my mom always tells me, you know, when you clean up, throw away what you don't want, or throw away what you don't need. So in your mind, if you're not throwing away what you don't need, you just end up with extra clutter that you don't need in your mind and in your heart. You're not cleaning up, right? Or what about when you actually have to sort through stuff? What about when you have to neatly fold something and put it away? Or you just leave it there, just sprawled all over. You just throw it in the closet, you know, right? You throw it in the closet. You don't clean out your closet, right? You throw it in the closet and just kind of get it out of the way because you want to just go through your daily life. So what we do with our problems or we do with our issues is we just push them out of the way, push them to the side. So now we look neat. So God comes up to you and asks you, is your room clean? And you go, yes, Daddy, it's clean. No, it's not, right? And so that's my question to you. And it's not very long, you know, I just wanted to, because it's too long for a minute Instagram post. I just want you to kind of meditate on that. Just kind of think about that for a moment. How do you go about cleaning up your life? And from a physical level, you can't clean up your life unless you address each individual mess. Go through the papers. Get rid of what you don't need. Right? Fold things up neatly. Put them in their proper place. See, we don't put things in the proper place, right? We got problems. We want to put it, we don't want to compartmentalize it where it needs to be. We just like to keep it where it doesn't need to be. You know, just like when we prioritize things that are valuable to us, and when they're of high value to us, even though they're not supposed to be, they cause us to be depressed, or they cause us to be anxious, they cause us to be upset, or they cause us to be frustrated because they're not in the proper place. They are the clothes that are in the on the shelf instead of in the closet. They're the pencils that are sprawled all over the bin, the container, instead of put inside the pencil box. You know, they're not where they need to be, and so they're right there in plain sight for us to deal with, or not deal with, but for us to put on a higher plane that it needs to be. And so we don't put things in their proper place, and so therefore it's messy in our minds and in our hearts. It's messy. We didn't put it in the proper place, right? And then, of course, like I said, papers we don't need. As a matter of fact, consider going through your stuff. Consider going through your bills and paperwork from 2013 that doesn't matter now, right? They're just taking up space, right? And they're just taking up. So you have things that are from back in the day that is taking up space in your mind and in your heart. So is your room clean? No. Are you clean? No. So is your life clean? Rather. So going back to that, I want to go back to my point. Do you clean up your life the same way the same way a child cleans up his room? So what do we get from this? One, throw away what you don't need, right? Very, very simple in theory, very complicated when you're actually trying to do it, because we want to hold on to a lot of things. We know how it is when you're cleaning up, right? You start picking up those things from back in the day. You start looking at it like, oh, wow, remember this? And you take a long time because you're like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember this. Oh, I remember that. And you try to hold it. Oh, I might need this later. And you don't, because you haven't used it for about 4 or 5 years, right? And you just hold on to a lot of stuff. We hold on. We become pack rats. We become pain hoarders, right? Or even joy hoarders. You know, maybe it's a relationship that you haven't thrown away some stuff from it, and so you keep hoarding up that stuff in the relationship, and your room and your life is still messy because you don't want to throw it away, right? Or, so then we have that. Now we have the part of putting things in their proper place, right? That's another thing. So putting things in their proper place so that they don't become too highly valued. And so that's where you got the person, and I use the same example, you got the person that put too much stock in college grades and passing grades over other things that are of more value, and so now they're suicidal because they got an F, or sometimes even a C minus. Put things in their proper place, right? Triple P. Put things in their proper place. And I guarantee you that you will start to see things declutter and get clean. It's not about just putting things away. It's not about just stacking papers, putting them away. It's going through it. Going through each individual thing, finding out what you don't need anymore and throwing it away. Finding out, what it is that stuff is. Maybe it's something that requires a little more detail. Maybe you got to put every pencil in the pencil box, or every Crayola in the Crayola box. Or maybe you do got to actually, put the Disney toys with the Disney toys, and the pens and pads with the pens and pads, and just really just clean up, deep clean your life. And it's not as complicated as we make it out to be. It's just going through the details, not just pushing it out the way. Because when you push it out the way, it's still there. It's still there, it's still ugly, and it still rears its ugly head. So, again, do you clean up your life the same way a child cleans up his room? And meditate on that. Think about that. Because I know the best person who can actually help you clean up your room, HGTV approved. God knows how to declutter your life better than anything else. Because he'll tell you what you need and what you don't need. And then you can actually go through and clean it up. Not to mention, one of the things that we have sitting there cluttering our minds and cluttering our hearts is our sin and our past. Or our challenges that are in our life, our sins that are in our life. And what happens when you actually have an additional person to help you clean up your life is now you got someone in your room with you, and they're picking it up, and they're actually taking it and doing the right things with it. And that's what Jesus does. That's what God does when you put it in his hands. So you're cleaning up and you're like, can you do something with this? You got this paper. I don't really know what to do with this one. Can you do something with this? Oh, this is taking up way too much space. Can you do something with this? It's an additional person that's now cleaning up. So now you have that additional cleaner. And it'll help you clean up your life. So again, I ask you, do you clean up your life the same way a child cleans up his room? Think about that. And that's it. Good morning. Meditate on that. Leave me some comments. Leave me a message. I don't know it all, but I just like to just kind of get people thinking about stuff, because whatever I'm wanting people to think about is something that I'm already thinking about. I'm talking to me first, always. All right, y'all.